What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel, Ron Harris channel. Today, I'm going to take you down a walk down memory lane over 13 years ago, May of 2010, when I made my only trip so far to the United Kingdom, to Birmingham, for two purposes. I was going there to meet a guy named Giles Thomas, who I'd corresponded with, but had never met in real life. He wasn't with MD yet. He was running a big website called UK Muscle, and we were going to attend the Body Power Expo, which is in Birmingham. I think that was only the second or third year that Body Power Expo had been around. And of course, my real ulterior motive was go to Temple Gym in Birmingham and get a workout with Dorian. Of course, I had arranged that beforehand with Dorian. So let me set the stage. I have this video, and you're going to be commenting about the quality of the video. I didn't shoot it. It was actually shot by a gentleman named Martin, who was the owner of Temple Gym before Dorian bought the gym in the 80s. And he was a videographer, a photographer. Giles himself was a photographer. He took the pictures that I've posted at various times. I used one in the thumbnail. So he was photographing, and this guy Martin, I wish I knew his last name, he was videotaping. The workout itself took about 35 minutes. It wasn't longer than 35 minutes. You know, I warmed up for a while. So I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to comment as we watch the video. It's only a little over 12 minutes, and then take some of your questions and comments, and we'll get to that. But let me first cue up the video, because I'm so great at doing that. I'm such a technological wonder kind. Okay, so let's hit play. And okay, I do full screen on that, maybe. Let's see, like this. Yeah. Okay. It's still pretty small. So yeah, this was shot by the guy Martin. I turned the audio off. There was some porn music. So we didn't actually start with calves. This was like a little montage-y shot. So this was done in the morning. I had flown all night on a red eye from New Jersey. He started me off with leg extensions, because he was a big believer in pre-exhausting the muscles, and we're going to do quads first and then hams. So we did some tough sets on leg extension. None of the sets counted except the last one. They were all just warm-ups. And Dorian was working out with me. He wasn't really training too hard. He didn't care. You know, he's been retired at this point since. So this was 2010. He'd been retired since 98. So what's that? 12 years? He'd been retired 12 years. Still had like 21-inch calves. And yeah, like I said, this was after I'd flown all night on a red-eye flight to Birmingham Airport. It's still the only part of the UK I've ever seen. Most of the people on my flight, Americans, that were like Phil Heath, the late Andy Hammond was on that flight. There was a few guys I knew, and they were all there for the Body Power Expo. So I hadn't slept much. I definitely hadn't brought enough food to eat. But you know what? I was just determined to have a great workout. Did not want to let Dorian down. I really wanted to show him how hard a worker I was, and that I could do his blood and guts leg workout. No problem. Now, let me tell you, I wouldn't say it was a mistake doing that. I wouldn't have traded this for anything, but we had two days after this at the Body Power Expo, which was expos are a lot of walking. My legs were just toast for at least a week. I want to say like 8 days. They were very, very sore. Walking was tough. Stairs were horrible. But man, I got to train legs with Dorian. I had Dorian put me through the paces. And I remember it was for a pre-workout, I used whatever his DY Nutrition pre-workout was at the time. It tasted vile. I can't remember what it was. It tasted vile, but it was effective. I needed the boost. I probably had like 500, 600 milligrams of caffeine leading up to this. He was actually about an hour and a half, 2 hours late meeting me at the gym. So I was just hanging around, eating protein bars and waiting for Dorian. And then he showed up, and I had the drink, wait for him. So here we got the whole stack. I don't know. I was very, very strong in leg extensions. Not that anybody cares. It's not like a lift that people, you know, what do you do for leg extensions? How much weight? I looking back on my training career, I don't think I would have gone as heavy on leg extensions as I did over the years. I think they put a lot of stress on the tendons, the patellar tendon, the quadricep tendon, because the quads are not meant to be loaded in an isolation single joint movement like this. Very, very heavy. I don't think extension should be super, super heavy. And here you can see he's making me do forced reps. There's Giles in the background. So failure to Dorian was like the beginning. This was the one set. Everything that we did up until that set was just a warm up because it wasn't taken to total failure and beyond. This set was. So you can see I'm a little wobbly. Look at Giles, how young he looks there. So this is 2010. I was 40 here. So May of 2010, I was 40. So second exercise was leg press. Same thing. The first few sets were warm-ups. This was probably the height of my leg strength at this time in my life. I still have right now I don't, my quad tore. But I mean, back then my knee joints were healthy. My lower back was iffy. Like actually this day, my lower back wasn't in good shape, which is why I didn't do any squats. And I was pretty conservative with look at me try to count the plates, pretty conservative with the Romanian deadlift weight that we did later on. But here, I'm not even sure if this must be the all out set because it looks like all the plates the machine would hold. Temple Gym, man, it's gone now. I think it was gone a couple years after this. They tore it down. Yeah. So this was the absolute all out failure and beyond set. Dorian helping a little bit, helping finish the reps. I don't know how many plates that was, but these, every machine in that place was heavy. Everything was heavy. He didn't, he being a very strong guy, and the people that trained, they were all strong people. They didn't want any machines that were easy or light where you could stack all the plates on and it wasn't that challenging. These are people that needed a lot of weight and machines that could accommodate a lot of weight. So yeah, Dorian's making sure I got that very last possible rep. Look at me turn the red. Okay, so the next exercise, this is a very old hack squat. I mean, I don't know if he even called it. He called it a hack squat. I guess technically this is a hack squat. I've never seen one quite like this before. It might have been handmade. It might have been a one-of-a-kind piece for all I know. Where's the weight? I think the weight loaded in back there. Anyway, I had no problem going very deep. That was one thing. Squats, hack squats, always got very, very low, very deep, like, ass to heels. Wow. So this is the all-out set. I don't think he filmed any of the warm-ups on this one. Probably only did a couple. But here I'm getting stuck. Dorian's helped me out. Is it over? It's probably not over. He's probably going to make me do another one. It was like every time I thought I was done. But I was not giving up. Ooh, squeeze out that one more up. Okay, that was it. Okay, from there, that was it for quads. That was it. So 3 exercises: leg extension, leg press, and hack squat. 1 working set of each. Moved on to the lying leg curl. I believe I can tell this is an old Nautilus piece right here. Same thing. I think it was like 2 warm-ups and 1 work set. It was always 1 work set, whatever we were doing. Yeah. So is he helping me on every rep? No. So he wanted really slow controlled negatives on that. You could see I'm exaggerating the negative. See, already on the 3rd rep, I already needed help. So even on legs, Dorian did not believe in higher reps. He believed in staying under 10 reps for legs. 6 to 8 would be like a really great working set for him, which was similar to Mike Mentzer's prescription for rep ranges. But yeah, look at these are the horrible shoes to wear. I had like Air Maxes on with the big bubbles in the heel. Later on I would wear flat soled shoes, but at this time I was still wearing basketball shoes, Jordans or whatever. Okay, so that was it. Leg curls, lying leg curls, and then it was Romanian deadlifts. And if my back was feeling good in those days, I could go as heavy as 315 if my lower back was perfectly healthy, which was a rarity. But on a day like this where my lower back was like iffy from God knows what dumb shit I was doing. What do we have? Was that 225? I don't know did I even go that heavy? I guess I must have. Yeah. Look at my Lance Armstrong shirt. Live strong, Lance Armstrong. Yeah. So here we go. Chest up. Don't round the back. Slow negative. Looks like my back is starting around. He's probably yelling at me. You couldn't even hear in the actual original video that I turned the audio off. You can't hear any of the actual gym sounds. It's my voiceover on a telephone to whoever was editing the videos at that time for MD. I can't even remember who the online editor was at that time. Was it Robbie? I honestly can't remember. 2010. Yeah, because I didn't get the job till early 2017. Okay, so that was it for hams. We're going to move on to calves now, guys. Yeah, so this gym had no windows. I think it had like one little window in the corner that was like out into the gutter. He's probably telling me my form was shit right there. Because I was rounding my back. Yeah, I mean that when my lower back is, it still comes and goes. Sometimes I have lower back pain. Sometimes it's fine. So what do we move on? Did he make me do it? Okay, so that was just a warm up, I guess. No, I think he made me redo the work set because he wasn't happy with the form. It looks to me like I'm still rounding my back though. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Yeah. I mean, now I use dumbbells when I do that movement, or a T-bar row machine. I haven't used a barbell for Romanian Deadlifts in years. So now we go to calves. So this is the special calf raise Dorian had made custom for his gym. The stack went to 900 pounds. Yes, 900. I attempted the whole stack. Never in my life have I had somebody give me 4 reps on calf raises. I have pretty good calves. They're not as good as Dorian's. Dorian had like 21-inch calves at this point. He hadn't done, I don't think he'd touched calves in years. There's Giles again, looking all young, spiffy, dressed in all black. So standing calf raises, and then we did seated. We didn't do any supersets. These were all straight sets. It was usually, yeah. So that was a warm-up. Was it a warm-up, or was this like a rest pause thing? Let's see if there's anything on the bottom. I wasn't using the whole stack. You could still see some plates there at the bottom. Damn it, Ron. You wuss. Why didn't you do the 900 pounds? That's probably only 700 pounds. But, he would have me hold the rep, hold the contraction at the top, come down slow. Yeah. I bet this whole workout was 30 minutes. Let me tell you, that place was magical. It's where Dorian trained for every single contest he ever competed in, all the way from his first amateur show to his last Olympia. He prepped and trained in that gym, that underground dungeon. Bathroom was disgusting, like moldy, nasty. At least he had a bathroom. Yeah, because, I have to pee and poop. I don't think I pooped. Did I poop there? I probably did. So seated calves were the very last thing we did. Yeah, I was shot at this point. I was just shot. I must have had water. Where's my damn water bottle? I'm sure I was having water in between though. Yeah. Oof. I think Giles took me to Nando's after for a big old helping of chicken and rice. Yeah. So that's the end of the workout. I couldn't have been that spent if I'm still able to talk, right? I should have been on the ground in a heap. But that was one of the toughest leg workouts of my life. The one with Branch was equally tough. The one with Ronnie wasn't as tough, only because there was more resting involved, because there were 4 of us training legs that day. So I got more rest in between sets. Here, there was like no rest. In the Branch trains so fast. I go, you go, I go, you go, even on legs. Just like, people don't understand Branch's pace is relentless with heavy weights. So this must be like rest pause, because he's got me doing a few reps, racking it, then a few more. Oh, that's it. Congratulations, Ron. You made it. Proud of you. And that's where you'll see he gave me the shirt that I'm wearing right now. I had to earn it. I could have given him a few bucks and, hey, I'd like one of those shirts. And look at me. Look at that hobbling away. And there's my shirt. Yay. And there's the picture. Good stuff. And look at my old digital camera. And that was the end of the video. So let's stop that screen. All right, let's see. Let's go to your questions and comments. Will Dorian take Sergio Jr. to the next level? I hope so, Raymond. I hope so, because I like Sergio. I know he gets a bad rap for being like a crybaby or whatever. He's had a tough time trying to establish his own identity and credibility in this industry, being the son of a 3-time Mr. Olympia champ. So I don't feel he's come close to his full potential yet. I really hope that partnering up and training in Marbella, Spain, where Dorian lives now, will be the missing puzzle piece, so that Sergio, as far as I'm concerned, should be top 5 at the Arnold Olympia every year. Forget about the Arnold. Arnold's great too, but the Olympia, he should be top 5 Olympia. I don't know if he could win the Olympia. Who knows who can win the Olympia or not. It's you never really know, but he should be a top Olympian. And let's hope that works. Big Mike Cox, my man in the Tampa, Florida area, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. This is badass. legs with Yates's bucket list stuff. Yeah, I'm psyched that I got to train legs with three of the greats that, Ronnie, Dorian, Branch. Trained legs with Jose many times. Great leg workouts. Only guy I never trained legs with that probably would be even better for bucket list is Tom Platz, but I don't know if that's still in the cards at this point. No, I mean, I could never train that way again. My legs, I'm not going to take those chances anymore. 54, I had huge legs, very strong for many years. Now, I see what happens. If I had got an injury like that, this again, like another quad tear or ham tear, I would just I'd whack myself in the head with a rock, like, you idiot. So Mike asked, did you usually train in that heavy duty style, more volume guy? I only did real brief style of training a couple times in my entire training career. My first couple years as a quote unquote bodybuilder, I was following the Nautilus principles and those workouts. So I was training with less volume for sure, high intensity, things like drop sets, supersets, forced reps, rest pause. And then, it was all on Nautilus machines. And then I gravitated after that. I switched over to a mix of free weights and machines and a little more volume. And my result, I started growing. I'm like, well, there you go. I guess the low volume stuff doesn't work. The only other time in my training career when I went low volume was I did DC training, Dante Trudell's system, for about a year and a half, maybe closer to 2 years. And that's actually pretty low volume. It's really just like you warm up a little bit and then you do like a one long rest pause set per exercise. So I was always more a volume guy. He was so control of his movements. Yeah, Dorian, and anyone who's ever watched him train other people, you would see immediately he does not put up with any nonsense. If he tells you to do it exactly this way, he'll stop you when you think you're doing great. He'll stop you and like, your form, that sucks. That's shit form. Because the first workout I ever did with him was the year before that, 2009. He came to the U.S. He was, doing different things for his supplement company, DY Nutrition. And he did a seminar at Apollon Gym in Edison, New Jersey. I drove down there. He did a seminar there, and I drove down with my brother, one of my older brothers, Dana. And after everyone left, I had prearranged it with him. Can we please do a little workout? He put me through a bicep workout that was 10 minutes long, if that, and my biceps, screaming. But he was super strict with the form. Like, he had me doing barbell curls, and I thought I was going all the way down. He's like, you're not going all the way fucking down. And I was like, yes, I am. He's like, no, you're not. He like, this is it. He like whacked the bar and pressed it down. He goes, that's all the way down. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, stickler for form is an understatement with Dorian. He demands perfect execution of the reps. You're not allowed to cheat because, he's a student of the greats like Mike Menser, Arthur Jones, Dr. Ellington Darden, who are all very much proponents of perfect form. And, I believe that perfect form has its time and place. Cheating, looser form also has a time and a place. I don't think either one used all the time is optimal. That's my opinion. I saw a great clip of Ron in 2013 getting interviewed on stage before going to save airport flexible. Great clip, great around that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was at the 2013. It was still called Team Universe at that time. And was it New Jersey that year? Yeah. The last year I did it was in New Jersey. Same place they do the Universe now, and the same venue they do the New York Pro now, at the Marriott in Glen Point. And it was cool to have Flex interview me because I'd interviewed him many times going back to like the early 90s, the American Muscle TV show. So it was cool to have someone I had such a long-standing relationship and friendship with. We both knew each other when we were like dumb kids. At the time, it's funny, I met Flex when I was 21, and I thought, him and Matarazzo, they were the first day I met Flex. It was shooting him and Mike Matarazzo they were hosting an episode of American Muscle. And I was 21 and they were probably like 25. But to me, that was 25, 26. But to me, that was like, oh, these guys are way older than me. And, I see Flex now at the shows and he's got the grizzled beard and everything, but I realize he's only a few years older than me. Once you get up in age, those 3, 4, 5 year differences are it's like nothing. Did you do drop sets during the session? No, there were no drop sets. I did see, I'm trying to remember, but we did a lot of rest pause where go to failure for like 5 reps, then rack the weight or whatever, wait, take a few breaths, go again. So the reps might look something like, it was very similar to what DC training does with the rest pause. So you might do like 7 reps, rack it, rest, get another like 3, rack it, then get another like 2 if you're lucky, and then you're done. You're done. But that's a weight that normally you could only do, 6 or 7 reps with. But by doing that rest pause configuration, you're able to get 10 to 12 reps out of something that maybe you would only get 6 to 8 with. So I like rest pause a lot. What did you do to pre-fuel before the workout? Good question. Because I remember, I didn't bring food with me on the plane. I was horrible at bringing food. Customs might take it away from me anyway, now that I think about it. If I try to bring like meals. So I had a couple like protein bars, probably like at that time, 2010, it's probably like Detour bars or something crappy. Had those on the plane. Didn't really sleep. I tried to sleep. I've never really been good at sleeping on planes. And it was an overnight flight from Newark Airport to Birmingham Airport. I got to Birmingham Airport and I was starving. I'm looking around for something to eat. And I couldn't find anything good. I found, what did I get? Like a little box with like a chicken salad or something in it. It was like, I think it was just like literally chicken and salad. I think it might have like croutons for the carbs. And so I wasn't really properly fueled. But like I said, the mind is such a powerful thing. I was going to give it my all no matter what. I wouldn't have wanted to be like literally starving, like where I've been fasting or anything like that. But I had some food in my system. Ideally, I would have had like this great breakfast before that, because I want to say we started the workout around 10 in the morning, because I think my flight got in at like 7:30. I took a cab. Those cabs in Birmingham, look, those cars are like from the 40s or something, big old cars. Went directly to the gym, and they're like, "Oh, Dorian's not here yet." I'm like, "Oh, all right." So I had my suitcase, my little carry-on suitcase. I left it at the gym, and I just walked around that area of Birmingham. I walked to a park and sat down for a little while. Came back to the gym. He still wasn't there, so I went back outside, walked around again, and came back. And I think he finally had showed up. He was like 2 hours late, but whatever. Who cares? He was training me for free, and I was getting pictures and videotapes. So believe me, I wasn't going to go. I was going to say, "Dorian, you jerk, you were late. You made me wait." Anyway, but yeah, I wasn't properly fueled. Ideally, I would have had like 8 hours of solid sleep, an awesome big breakfast of like eggs and oatmeal and berries, and then waited like an hour and a half and then started the workout. But I wasn't on my timeline. I was in a different country. This and that, blah, blah, blah. Next one. He made Cormier puke. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm like more hardcore than Chris because I didn't puke. Maybe it's because I barely had any food in my system. Maybe if I had a real big meal like I would have ideally had, maybe then I would have puked. I don't know. Cody Jolly, channel is awesome, man. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you subscribing. So I'm trying to get this channel going to the point where I can put some money into it, because right now I can't monetize it, but I'm like this close. I needed like 220 more viewing hours. I have enough subscribers. What else do you need? I have enough videos uploaded in the last 90 days. There's a little short list of requirements to monetize. I just need I needed like 223 viewing hours, meaning people need to watch that many hours of my channel within the last 90 days for me to be eligible to get monetized. Then I can get some, sponsors, advertising, and do different types of content. I want to bring back the Ask Dr. T show here with a sponsor. I want to start my interview show again. I decided I'm not going to call it Ron Line Report, just because that was an MD thing. I did 700 of those or something, 700. I don't know. I did a lot of them for MD, and it's a fresh start. I really want to make the new channel not a rehash. Maybe Ask Dr. Testosterone. Maybe we'll call that something different too. I don't know. Although that's a great nickname. Hey, MD didn't own that. That's George. George did that video for us, and I loved working with George, and the viewers loved his videos. So that's the first video the video series I want to bring back on this channel. So you guys watching me right now is helping me to that goal of being able to monetize it so I can get some sponsors and bring some things, eventually, who knows, maybe I'll be able to do, Jen and I have been talking. Jen Geraci was the chief operating officer of Advanced Research Media, which was the parent company of MD. And she's going to be teaming up with me on this channel, and I want her to, she's far more versed in YouTube policies and things like that. So, but that's what I need to do to monetize. So, thanks for watching. Let's see, how long is your central nervous system fried? I can't say that. I don't think it was. But like I said, my legs were sore. Like, I think the soreness started setting in 6 or 8 hours later by the time I woke up the next morning. So I want to say this was a Thursday morning. Body Power was, no, maybe it was Friday. I don't know. It was one day, and then the next 2 days were the Body Power Expo. And the whole time I was going around the expo, I was like walking. It felt like I was being stabbed in a million places in the quads. It was so painful. So the only times my legs have been sore that long since my newbie days were the branch workout. They stayed sore for like a week. I think the Ronnie workout, they were probably sore for about a week. And this time, yeah. I mean, normally my legs would stay sore for like 2-3 days, maybe 4. When I was younger and I was doing all kinds of crazy shit for them, all kinds of drop sets and supersets. Yeah, they would stay sore for a week. But I don't know about my CNS. I think that was fine. Big Mike Cox, which is hard. It's just with Dorian or Ronnie. So I definitely say Dorian, and that's only because I was the sole focus of attention. He was working out, as you could see, but he wasn't trying to go hard or heavy or anything like that. The weights that were heavy for me were not that tough for him. He had downsized a bit. He was still, you could see he still had some really good size there. He was like, so he's about 240 there, maybe 250, where he used to be like 300 pounds in the off season. He hadn't downsized as much as he later would a few years after that. But the point being is there was very little rest. It was like he would watch me to see when he thought I was ready, and then he'd say, go again. With Ronnie, it was a group situation. So there were like 25 of us working out in the Ronnie Coleman training camp that we had all come out to train with Ronnie and hang out with Ronnie, February 2005. And I was in a group that got to train legs with Ronnie. There were like 3 other groups that got to train back, chest, and shoulders and arms with 3 of Ronnie's friends. I think like Vicky Gates took on one group to train with them. And Gus the Bus, what's Gus's last name? You know, Gus, he's a pro. He's a friend of Ronnie's from way back. And there was another friend of Ronnie's. I want to say his name was Rob, a tall dude, built more like a linebacker, not so much a bodybuilder. But anyway, I got trained with Ronnie, but there were also, I want to say it was me, Ronnie, either 2 or 3 other guys in the training group, which meant everyone had to do their set, in a row. So I got plenty of rest on that. I would go very, very hard on the one set that I had to do, but I didn't have to go again for like 6 minutes, there was no rest. The branch one was tough too, like I said, because branch does not rest. You look at branch, it's hard to tell from the videos because they're edited, but when I was there with him in real time, he would do his set and he'd be like, all right, let's go. And I'd have to go. And then as soon as I was done, he'd jump on the leg extension, leg press, or the hack, whatever it was, and just bam, bam, go. So they were all tough, but this one was a bitch. Max Muscle, what's up, Max? Is it Marks or Max? Max Muscle. I used to love the Max Muscle clothes, the Max Muscle retail stores out in LA or the Southern California in general. Dorian's making you lift too heavy. Yeah. Like I said, Raymond, he was all about, he did not believe in, I wouldn't even consider 10 reps to be high reps, but Dorian, that was like his upper limit for legs. If you did more than that, he'd say you need more weight, which was very much in line with Mike Menser's way of training. He would train with 6 to 8 reps for the most part. Almost everything Mike Menser did and prescribed was in that rep range. He felt you really needed to overload the muscle with heavy weight. That's the only way you got full intensity, was by challenging the muscle to the maximum. Which, for legs, I've always been more of a proponent of, I would do reps in that range, 6 to 8. I would even go as low as 5 at times on things like squats, but I always mixed in higher reps. Leg press in particular, I can remember times when I would do 100 reps. Sometimes that would be a rest pause thing. I do like 25, take a few breaths, do like another 10, and go until I got to 100. But 30 to 50 rep sets like that on leg press were not uncommon for me at all. 20 reps was very, very common on the leg press. But yeah, Dorian was not into anything where if you could do 20 reps, that was way too light as far as Dorian was concerned. And I think he still feels that way. He's gotten great results with a bunch of people, but personally, I don't like to go that heavy. You can see the form was still good. He demanded strict form. Strict form was very heavy weight. Very, very difficult thing to do. It's a lot easier to cheat the weight up, of course. Did you visit Sandow's grave? I think that's in London, isn't it? I believe that's in London, and I've never been to London. I was in Birmingham, which is, I don't know how far north. The geography of the UK sort of mystery to me. I have a rough idea where things are, but I want to say it was about a 4-hour drive south. If I want to go to London, I didn't have a car. I think Giles came from, where was he living at the time? I think he was in London at the time. I'm sure I'm wrong about that. I'm probably wrong about that. Mike Cuck says, nothing beats the basics. Kids not start from machines, probably never go near a bent row or deadlift. Yeah, I mean, we have that's the catch-22 of having all this amazing equipment now that didn't exist years and years ago. But, guys in the pumping iron era and prior to that, there were very, very few machines. So they did just all the basics. Barbell rows, military presses, bench press with a bar, incline barbell press, chin-ups, dips, squats, deadlifts, and, they got pretty damn big. If they'd been on as much gear as the guys now use and all the food and everything, I think they would have been even bigger. Of course, they would have been bigger. So, yeah, I mean, it bothers me when I see kids that won't squat or bench press or deadlift. I mean, when I say bench press, dumbbells is probably a smart idea for a lot of people. But, yeah, the basics, you can't beat the basics. Now Mike Cox is going into, should Dorian have won 94-97? I went to 94-0, and I swear Sean and Kevin looked better and Nash looked great in 97. Yeah. It just came up again in someone's video. I think it was, I don't know if it was Palumbo that was interviewing Kevin Leveroni about it. And I had Kevin say this on his show that he did for MD a couple of years back, the Leveroni report, the MD Leveroni report, about how Joe Weider explained to him why he couldn't let him win the Mr. Olympia. These are Kevin's words. We don't have Joe Weider on tape recording saying this, so it's Kevin's word, but I believe Kevin to be a pretty honest guy. I don't feel like he's lying or being dishonest in any way. He explained to Kevin that I can't let you win, meaning that he was somehow controlling the outcome of the Mr. Olympia in that era, because if I let you or Sean or Flex win, I don't get any more money because I've already got the US market for my supplements, my magazines, my equipment, my workout equipment. But by having Dorian as my Mr. Olympia champion, that opens up the whole European market and I make more money. So I hate to believe it's true that the Mr. Olympia was rigged and that Joe Weider was handpicking the winners based on who would advance his profit margins in the Weider Corporation. But again, I don't find Kevin Leveroni to be a dishonest person. I believe he's a God-fearing man. I believe he has high morals, ethics, values, and all that. So when he says these things, and he said it on the Dennis James podcast too a year or so ago. So he said it many, many times in places. So and his story has never changed. The wording has never really changed. So I tend to really believe that. So when you say, should Dorian have won in 94, 97? I think 94 was the first year, correct me if I'm wrong, that he came in with the torn bicep, which he never had repaired. So front double bicep, and one bicep's retracted halfway toward the shoulder. How, as Mr. Olympia, do you do that? How do you win? How do you be declared the greatest bodybuilder in the world when you have asymmetrical arms? One arm is much better looking than the other because you have a torn arm. Like we wouldn't see a guy with like a huge pec tear winning the Mr. Olympia. Bumstead when he won the last year, not the 23, the 22 Class Physique Olympia, he had a slightly retracted bicep. But he had that fixed. But no, I believe Dorian probably won a couple more Olympias than he should have. But I would say the same thing about a lot of other Mr. Olympias. Even Lee Haney won a couple, like 89 and 90. I don't think he should have won those. I think Lee Labrada had him at both of those years. We could go back to the history of Mr. Olympia. So that's why when I say the judging, when people talk shit about the judging now, I laugh. I say, you kidding me? The judging's pretty damn great. You should have been around in my day and before my day. When I first started going, the Olympias in decades past, there was some tomfoolery going around. There was some shady ass shit going on with the way things were judged. Like Franco Columbu, when he won the rest in peace, but when he won the 81 Olympia, looking at the pictures, because I remember I've said this before, I had an old issue of Muscle Mag that with the contest coverage of that 1981 Mr. Olympia that Franco won. And it was like a 20-page photo report It was like almost all photos. There was text, but a lot of photos and a lot of comparisons. I honestly had Franco taking like 4th or 5th that year based on those photos, and they were good pictures. We don't need to keep talking about how crappy the Mr. Olympia judging was in the past. Past is past. Were the warm-ups heavy? Well, you could see on the leg press, like my first warm-up set, I think was like 5 plates. That's one of the regrets I have about my training career is that I probably didn't warm up enough. No, I know I didn't warm up enough, especially when I was in my 20s, even into my 30s. I always was impatient to get to the heavy weights. I treated warm-ups like they were just an inconvenience, a pain in my ass. It's like, I would do like a couple little wimpy warm-up sets and then load it up and go all out with super heavy weight, which wasn't the smartest thing. Didn't get the blood flowing enough. Didn't get my joints accustomed. Just a bad idea on many levels. So yeah, his warm-up sets were pretty heavy, but we did do warm-up sets. We never jumped. He didn't have me jump into anything with the maximum weight. It was always warm. It's a good. Was Metroflex cleaner than Temple Gym? That's like saying, is Burger King higher quality of food than McDonald's? No, they were both pretty filthy. So they were dirty in different ways. I guess it's because of the climate and the environment that they were in. So Metroflex in Texas was a hot, dry place for the most part. There was a lot of dust in there. I think there were some leaves on the ground. It was pretty grimy and dusty. Bathrooms weren't too bad. They weren't great. Here I am going on and on about the bathrooms. But Dorian's place, because it was underground, it looked like it had been like a series of basements of homes, maybe, decades, maybe 100 years before, that they had sort of knocked down some walls to make a larger space underground. Brick walls. It kind of had a moldy, mildewy smell to it. And the bathroom definitely had a lot of mold and mildew. I was afraid to touch things. I was afraid I was going to get some flesh-eating bacteria or something from the bathroom there. The bathroom didn't look like it was clean very often. But there was a toilet and there was toilet paper, and I'm pretty sure I had to poop. These things are important for us bodybuilders because we eat so much. We need to pee and poop a lot. So was it cleaner? Yeah, I'd say marginally. It was marginally cleaner for sure. It was definitely better lit, better lighting. Temple was kind of dingy lighting, but who cares? It was an amazing, just to be in that place. He had all his old training belts up on one wall. I don't think he has Mr. Olympia sandals there. I'm sure he kept those at home. But just to know that you were in the same place where Dorian Yates trained for all of his shows, every contest he ever did, all the Olympias he won, it was a really cool feeling. And looking back, it was a place and time in history because that place got knocked down, Temple Gym. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 years after that. It was gone. It was, gone. So I'm very glad I had that experience. Jacob Madrid, it's great seeing you on Desktop Bodybuilding. Always room. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you haven't checked that out yet, Desktop Bodybuilding dropped the video today. What really happened at MD? It's not scandalous or anything. I don't want to get your hopes up if you're looking for dirt. I just sort of explained why I felt the company dissolved, why Steve decided to let it go. No anger, no bitter, no resentment. It's not one of those videos. I just try to clear up some misconceptions and, again, make sure everyone knows I'm not owed any money. I was fully paid off. But yeah, it was a shock. It was a shock when the company went down. Scott May says, "Hey, Ron." I say, "Hey, Scott, what's up?" Samson, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Has the list of Arnold Columbus been released? Oh, it should be coming out really soon. I keep hearing athletes say they're doing the contest, but I've not seen finalists yet. Yeah, so the people that are saying that they're doing the show were the ones that were invited. And they've basically said, yeah, I'll go. There's always, so they cap it off. They don't let, 20, 30 guys. At the Olympia is different. You qualify for the Olympia, you're in the Olympia. So that's why, like last year, I think we had 30 guys, 32 guys in the show. This year, that we would have had over like 25, but so many guys dropped out due to various reasons. Arnold caps it off. They keep it a little smaller, more prestige, more elite, because it's invitation only. And they cap it off at like 12 guys. I think maybe 15. It might be 15. I've never seen more than 15. I want to say 12 is like an average number. A lot of times there's been 10 guys. So they'll invite, of course they want the top Olympians. They'll invite Derek Lunsford, Hadi Chupin, Samson. Samson's doing it for sure. He confirmed that weeks ago. So they'll invite like the whole top 10 of the Mr. Olympia, and they'll invite some other people too, some big names. And on top of that, they have people that are contacting them, the Arnold organizers. They want to go on the show. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'd love to be in the 2024 Arnold Classic. And they review all those applicants versus how many people that they invited who have confirmed that they're coming. And, however many spots they have left in their limit after the invited people have confirmed. So maybe they invited 15 guys and 7 of them said, yeah, I'll be there. So now maybe they have 5 more spots. That's when they look at all the guys who have applied and say, who do we really want? They'll pick the people they think are going to be the biggest draw, sell the most tickets. They want great physiques, but they're looking, it's a show. All these events, they're shows, and the promoters want sold out houses and VIP packages sold, and they want a lot of good names. So all these fans are going to come and watch, hopefully. Hope that answers your question. What about get some bubble butt wellness chicks? Get them for what? Interviews? What am I going to ask? Yeah, but I like wellness. I mean, I like big butts, and I cannot lie. I like jacked women. And my wife's 50. What can I say? She'll be 53 in a couple weeks here at the end of the month. She's still jacked. Yeah, I love that look, the wellness look. I still don't think they needed that division. A whole division where the lower body is proportionally supposed to be bigger than the upper body. To me, that just sort of goes against everything I know and believe about physique competition. Balance, proportion, symmetry. You would never have, they used to talk shit about men's physique, but it was never a directive. They never came out and said, all right, for men's physique, we want you to have a much bigger upper body than your legs. They never said that. And now they're actually starting to judge the legs. They mandated that the shorts need to be like a certain amount of inches above the knee so you can see the quadricep development. And they wear tight board shorts now so you can see the development of the quads. In the past, they were baggier. You could get away with skinny legs. But now they've come out, and Tyler Manning came out and said, we're going to judge your legs. Even though they're still covered up, we're judging the general size and proportion, I guess. So I don't know. Men's physique's getting closer and closer to like classic bodybuilding in that aspect, if they're judging the whole physique. Samson, I think he's talking to Mike. He says, well, Metro's a messy gym. I heard Tempo's downright stinking gym. Pissy bathroom. Members who miss more than a few showers. I didn't smell any stinky people, but I could be wrong. I probably smelled. I was on a plane all night. I probably smelled pretty bad. Especially when you eat too much protein or very, very high protein. For me, when I would sweat profusely, I would get like an ammonia smell in my sweat, and it would like really seep into my clothes, especially cotton like t-shirts. I had some shirts I've had to throw away because anytime I started lightly sweating in them, it would sort of like bring back that ammonia smell from before. I don't know how. It's like I couldn't get that smell out of the. I think Tide came out with some special pods for that later on, but whatever. That guy, to quote my friend Ryan Bamford, aka I can't read that, from Ireland. Good morning this morning, Ron. Peace, love, and blessings. Thank you, that guy, 6. Ryan Bamford, aka Ireland. Okay. Mike says, other than Peter McGuff, who's some of my favorite bodybuilding writers? I like Greg Zulak a lot. I'd say I sort of modeled a lot of my training articles style. I didn't totally steal his style, but I was very inspired by Greg Zulak, who wrote a ton of training articles back in the day for Muscle Mag. I like TC Luoma back in the 90s. He was a really good writer, early 2000s. TC was the editor-in-chief of Muscle Media 2000, and then which I wrote for that magazine for a couple of years. After that, he went on to start Testosterone, T-Nation, T-Mag, which is still around online. I wrote for that for a few years too, for sure. TC, he had a great sense of humor. Still does, I'm sure. Who else did I like? Julian Schmidt, who wrote for Flex. What I liked about his writing was it was like intellectually challenging. I used to always say that he probably did. He was a very, very intelligent guy. So I used to say, we used to joke that he would sit there and write with a thesaurus next to him because he would come up with all these obscure 4 or 5 syllable words to describe something. And you're like, what the hell? You'd have to look it up. I'd have to look it up. My vocabulary is not that extensive, but it was written. he didn't dumb down his writing, is what I'm trying to say. It was challenging to read Julian Schmidt's articles, which for a bodybuilding magazine to have the balls to print something that, unless you're had a master's degree in literature, we're probably going to be stumped by a lot of the words. That was bold. Julian was good. Greg Zulak, TC. Dan Duchesne was hilarious. Dan Duchesne, the Underground Steroid, he wrote the Underground Steroid Handbook, which was really more like a pamphlet. He had a hilarious writing style, Dan. He wrote for Muscle Media 2000. Trying to think of some other guys. Yeah. I mean, I always like Steve Holman's training stuff. Very straightforward. I guess that's all I can think of for the moment. What is Jen up to? Jen is working on a lot of different things right now. She wrote a book years back called Potholes, and she's been recording her own audiobook version of Potholes. That's we've spread on some of our social media. I put it on my Facebook, I think. She's been doing that. She's got a gaming channel. Jen, if you're on here, if you're not on here, I can't think of the name of the gaming channel, but she's got a gaming channel. She's an active video gamer. Just call them gamers, right? I mean, my son's one, I should know. She's doing that. She probably has other things I'm not as up to what everyone's doing, but she's been keeping busy. Mike Cox, think they'll invite Nextzilla to the Arnold? I would, not because I think he's like the best bodybuilder in the world. I think people are saying he's like the next Mr. Olympia, need to slow their roll. But popularity-wise, my God, that's all anyone's talking about the last, say, 3 weeks. However, when was Prague? It's been almost a month, right? Nextzilla this and Nextzilla that. Giles Thomas posted up a little. He was there. He was the web stream, the pay-per-view commentator for the show. He took a video. I don't know if it was backstage. I can't recall what the video was. Either backstage or stage video of him. And it got like 800,000 or 900,000 views. I put one picture up on my Instagram of Rubiel, Nextzilla, with Tim Budesheim, and he was posing, and off to the side you see Budesheim like just in shock at this guy. That has, like, last I looked, 93,000 likes. That picture. Pictures of me average like 30 to 100 likes. So clearly people are interested in Nextzilla. So I would invite Nextzilla just because people are excited about this guy. Bodybuilding needs fresh faces, fresh talent, things to get excited about, and that's him. He's got a lot of people very excited. They want to see this guy on a stage again as soon as possible. They want to see him compared to the best guys in the world, see how he stacks up. If I were in charge of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the committee as to who goes into the Arnold Classic, that'd be a no-brainer. Like, Rubiel, let's go, bro. Do it. And if I were him, I would do it. Is that the last comment? Oh, new comments. Oh, we got more. Okay. Julian Schmidt really challenged me. Yeah, me too, man. He was something else. He was, I didn't know the guy. A lot of people I wish I had known, but I was just sort of like hang back and look at them from afar. He was some Western state, maybe Montana, Wyoming. He wore this big white cowboy hat, and he was a tall guy with a booming voice, older gentleman. I think by the time I was reading his stuff, he was already probably in his 60s. But yeah, imposing figure for sure. Muscle Media 2000, my favorite, very good articles. Yeah, Muscle Media 2000 was an awesome magazine. For those of you who remember it, it was I think it was the first magazine to really have like steroid columns with pictures of different drugs. Dan Duchesne had a column. A couple other guys that were drug experts had columns. They would even show you like pictures of the real version plus and the fake, and tell you how to spot the differences so you wouldn't get scammed. They would do reviews of different underground labs. It was a lot of cool stuff. It wasn't all about drugs, but it was very open in their PED discussion, Muscle Media 2000. And they had a lot of like sex talk and stuff. I loved it. I thought it was great. Nubane Guru. Was he the Nubane Guru? Yeah, I think he was advocating Nubane, which was like a synthetic opioid, not as strong as a heroin or an OxyContin, but nonetheless, it was an opioid, and a lot of bodybuilders got addicted to it. Giles has talked about his addiction. A lot of people were addicted to that stuff. I never touched it. Had I probably would have got addicted too. But people, they used it like as a recovery. They would use it while they trained so they didn't feel the pain. Then they would use it after the training to relax. And, before you know it, you're on the stuff all the time. Let's see. Ron, everyone else who suffers from odors getting to your clothing, add borax to your laundry. That definitely gets the smell of all type of your clothes. Borax in the supermarket section. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's too late. I threw away so many shirts because once I started to sweat, I was like, oh, I would smell that ammonia smell. It was like overpowering and like, oh, I couldn't stand it anymore. Did you ever write anything for Weider? I wrote one article for Muscle and Fitness. I don't even remember what it was about at this time. Dave Tuttle, a guy named Dave Tuttle, who used to write for Iron Man, he became their editor-in-chief for a brief time, and he gave me an assignment. And I can't recall. He wanted it to have like references and stuff. And this is before the internet. This is a few years before the internet. It was in the 90s. I remember I had to go to the library and like books and photocopy and my article, whatever it was. I think it was a training article, but I needed to have like scientific reference, medical journal references. I was at the library all day making photocopies and taking notes. And it was good. I think I got like $1,000 or $1,200 for the article, which, you know, that was a lot for an article, even back then for me. But that was the only time I ever wrote. But it was for Muscle and Fitness. I had one article published. I don't think I ever bought. Did I get the issue? I bet I have it. I bet I have so many magazines in my damn crawl space. Our stuff. I think Rubio would do well at the New York Pro. Steve likes his physique. Yeah, according to Giles, who was backstage after the win, he saw Steve Weinberger, the promoter of the New York Pro, and he's also the Mr. Olympia head judge. He saw him talking to Rubiel and telling him, not asking him, telling him to do the New York Pro. And I think it's a great idea. It's a great show for newer athletes to establish themselves. The New York crowd, New Jersey crowd loves freaks. That show had people win it in the past, like Rami won it 2 years in a row. His first pro show was the New York Pro, not 2013, Big Rami. We had guys like Marcus Rule, Paul Dillette, Nasrel Somebody. It had a long-standing tradition of big, freaky guys, and it was a way for a lot of people to really establish themselves. If you do well, if you win that, it sets you up as a top Olympia competitor. You know, Ronnie won that show. Flex Wheeler won that show. Did Cormier win it too? I mean, pretty much everybody that went on to be an Olympia great, either winner or one of the greats, won that. Sean never did that show. Phil Heath won that show. Branch, Victor. Yeah, a lot of great people won that show. Sam says Axilla would definitely bring eyes to the show. Arnold would invite him for just that reason. He looked great next to Samson. Axilla second to Samson, Krizo third. Yeah, Krizo, you know, Samson. The only shots where Rubiel really loses it to me, front double bicep, because his waist is pretty blocky and wide. He does not have a small waist. He doesn't have a gut. I'm not saying that. He has a wide hip structure. He's sort of straight up and down. He doesn't have that really nice V taper structure. You see it there. He does need more upper body to balance out. He's got these crazy, crazy legs. They're enormous. So he's not like a perfect physique. I don't see him doing, I don't know, personally, I don't know how well he's ever going to do at the Olympia, because the Olympia is tough, man. It's tough. But New York Pro, I would definitely want to see him in that show. Anabolic Reference Guy was our Bible. We passed that around the gym. Was that Bill Llewellyn? Or was that Anabolics? Who wrote Anabolic Reference Guy? I'm trying to remember. Was it Llewellyn or somebody else? It wasn't Duchesne. I don't think Duchesne ever wrote like a real long book. Was Anabolic Reference? Did Bill Phillips have something to do with that too? Yeah, maybe. Jack Dupp says, a professional rugby trainer once told me, you haven't trained legs until you've thrown up. I've trained legs once. I've only thrown up all these years from leg training. I've come close many times, but the only time I actually threw up was Gold's Gym Venice, probably 92 or 3. So I'm like 22, 23, 24 years old. I had eaten a bag, like almost a whole bag of green seedless grapes on the way to the gym. Like it was like a 40 minute drive from where I lived at the time. I lived in Rosemead. And I ate the whole bag. That was like my pre-workout carb up. Didn't have any pre-workouts. They didn't exist back then. So anyway, I was doing hack squats, going really hard, intense. And I just felt it was like the last, I don't know, third set, fourth, whatever it was. I just felt it coming up. And thank God, this was the first room at Gold's Gym Venice. And there was a bathroom right there in front of me. There was a door. And thank God nobody was in it. Actually, I think there was 2 side by side. And one of them was locked and the other one wasn't. I ran in there and heaved up my guts. Rinsed out my mouth with some water and finished the workout. But yeah, I've only thrown up once. I've made other people throw up many times. Not usually intentionally, sometimes intentionally. Like if they were some people have told me they want to see if I can make them throw up. I'm like, all right. It's really just like your CNS, your central nervous system getting completely overloaded and overwhelmed that spurs on that nausea. Nausea makes you throw up. Nationals is weird weekend. Weird not knowing who the front runners are. Yeah, I mean, I know some people from the area doing it, but I don't know if they're front runners or not. I mean, we have one girl from our gym, Selena. She's in figure. Steve, super heavyweight Steve. What's Steve's last name? Ugh. Jose's got a guy in there. Stephen Cawley's going to be a super. Is Reichfelder doing it? Another one of Jose's guys? I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, back in the day back in the old days, the amateur scene was much more publicized because you had people that were good enough to turn pro, but there were so few pro cards available back then. Back in those old days, if you won the USA or Nationals, you were pretty much a guarantee to win pro shows right away and be top 5 in the Olympia like right away. We saw it with Cormier, Flex, a lot of guys back in the old days, Sean Ray. If you were good enough to turn pro back in those days, you were going to be a great pro because it was so hard to turn pro. Now we have so many different opportunities and ways to turn pro. Amateur Olympias, a lot of shows just have something called like their pro qualifier, the Arnold Amateur. There's a lot more opportunities. All these master shows. There's a lot more pros now than there were, and people don't stay amateur as long, so we don't get this pool of awesome amateurs. Like there were guys back in the day, Mike will know, like Edgar Fletcher, Matt Mendenhall, Rory Liedelmeyer. These guys were amazing. They were better than 90% of all the pros right now, I promise you, but they never turned pro. It was that hard to turn pro back then. Training your legs again. Wimpy bitch-ass leg workouts. Yeah, I got legs again tomorrow. So I can't do anything really heavy yet, obviously. Don't have a complete range of motion yet. I've been advised. I started doing light leg extensions. I was advised to hold off on those for a few more weeks probably and stick to the compound movements. If I do like an extension movement, it has to be super, super light, like the minimal amount of weight on there. And I'm not supposed to do the negative, only the lifting portion. I'm not supposed to have negative resistance on the knee joint in a single joint movement like that. But yeah, a little bit. But it's great to be able to train legs and get the blood flowing and a little pump. Calves I can train fine. Hamstrings, I have to be a little careful because when you're contracting your hamstring, you're stretching your quad. And like I said, I don't have 100% range of motion back in that right leg yet with the knee joint. So at the PT, the physical therapist yesterday, pulling with the band, and they measure the bend. I got 130-degree bend with the band, but then they say, okay, let's see you do it without pulling on the leg. Just bend your leg as much as you can. And doing it that way, I'm about 120, 122, which is still, once I passed 90, I was psyched because that meant I could bend my leg. Like at the time of the Arnold, when I went to the Olympia a few weeks ago, I had just broken like 90 degrees. I was just able to bend my leg enough to basically get on a plane, shortly before that. Samson says, I always became sick after I finished my workouts. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you really push hard, super intense, failure and beyond, where your central nervous system is taking a beating, firing on all cylinders and then some, yeah, it's going to make you nauseous. You're going to feel wiped out, sick to your stomach. That's why it's tough to eat after that too, because I've had many leg work, especially like legs, where you can get the shakedown after without feeling sick usually. I've had some workouts where I couldn't even get the shakedown. I was like, oh, I feel awful. Like I remember when I did, like I said, when I did legs with Branch Warren, it was so intense. I couldn't even drink my shake. I tried. I was like, I took it with me because we were looking for somewhere to eat after the workout. It was already like 10 o'clock in my area. Goodness, there's not much open past 10 o'clock. And it was a weeknight too. So I can't remember. We found someplace eventually, but it was rough. Yeah. So when you really fry your CNS like that, it can make it very difficult to eat. And you don't want to go like 3-4 hours after a workout without eating anything. You want to get some protein and carbs back in there as soon as possible. Here we go. Thank you, Mike. Samson about guys. Bill Phillips, Ron. Thank you. Bill Phillips, who founded the EAS supplement line. He founded Muscle Media 2000. Cool guy. I remember I went to the was it the month, the EAS grand opening, when they opened up their huge building in Golden, Colorado. He had like most of the Denver Broncos there as guests to the party. He was giving helicopter rides. I didn't get a helicopter ride. Damn it. I wanted one. But man, it was a great party. He spent a ton of money, I'm sure. It was like an ice sculpture the size of I don't know, like a Cadillac Escalade. I think it was just a company logo and some other. Anyway, it was a great party. The building had like its own fully equipped gym. Everything a commercial gym would have. They had a movie theater. They had like a video arcade. They had all kinds of crap for the people that worked there. Yeah, good show. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you watching. Chick-fil-A time. Go get it, bro. Go get your Chick-fil-A. I'm going to be off here too. John Meadows, Jay Cutler. Jacked Up says, John Meadows, rest in peace. Jay Cutler also encouraged hams first on leg day. Oh, I've been doing hamstrings first on leg day for 20 years. Yeah, I started doing it simply because my hamstrings were lagging quite a bit behind my quads in development. And it was either have another training day just for hams or do hams first. And I didn't want to do 2 leg days a week at that time. I just didn't want to because I didn't want to break up my schedule of my bro split was like back one day, chest with either biceps or triceps I would do. Shoulders would also be done with either biceps or triceps, whatever wasn't done on the other day. And there was a leg day. I trained 4 days a week for many, many years, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Got great results doing that. But yeah, I started doing hams for that reason, to bring up my hams, because I knew that by doing them later in the workout, I was so wiped out from the squats, the leg presses, the hack squats, extensions, all that. By the time I would get to hamstrings, I just didn't have much left. I didn't have enough energy to really do them justice. So they came up, and then, later on, guys like Meadows would explain, you should do hamstrings first because it really does a great job of warming up and priming the whole thigh area for training. And it doesn't take away from what you're going to be able to do for quads very much at all. Whereas the opposite is not true. You have a crazy, great, intense, heavy quad workout, and then you try to start working on hams. You're not going to do a great job on hams. So yeah, I've been doing it that way, and I encourage other people to do the same thing, because it warms up the knees really well. Obviously, there's blood flowing in the whole area. There's really no downside as far as I can tell. Kind of don't care about anything, or I don't know. Well, I appreciate you stopping by and giving me a view, regardless if you care or not. So yeah. Okay. I have to cook up probably about 3 pounds of ground turkey right now. That's my 6 or 6:30 meal, somewhere in that range, is the ground turkey with some tortilla chips and an apple. Lately, been doing that. So I'm going to start cooking, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. I appreciate it. It's Friday. So hope you all have an excellent weekend, going to some holiday parties. Don't be afraid. Indulge. Have a little treat here and there. Have some cake or cookies or whatever the heck they have for you. Have a little drink if they're having drinks. It's okay. Get back on the horse, back on your diet, Monday morning. So that's it. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you like it. Share it on your platforms, please. Helps me out for sure. I want to get this channel really pumping again. And with your help, we can start putting out some awesome. Yeah, please fast track the Return of Dr. Chi show. That's what I'm trying to do, John. That's why I just need a couple hundred more viewing hours on the channel, and I can get that. Obrigado. That's Portuguese. That's about all the Portuguese I know right there. So again, guys, thank you all. Appreciate you watching so much. Have an awesome weekend. Bye-bye now.